Hello, welcome everybody. We are going into week 8 of the Gauntlet run here in round 2 as we see a face-off between the 8th seeded WCU Rams and the 6th seeded Barbara's Fanclub here. As already looking at how these teams are going into it, Barbara's Fanclub came off a very dominant 2-0 last week. Yeah, last week against the
Spectre
Spectre
Gaming.
Gaming. And then Rams are coming off of a FF win from Predictive Gaming Nemesis. So it's going to be a little interesting to see what the Rams bring to the table here against Barbara. Barbara having hopes very, very high after their very dominant victory, both pre-30-minute victories and both about six-figure gold leads in each, 10K plus. So I really am liking to see what goes on in this gauntlet run here.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is not my first time, but this is now my second time having the opportunity to cast Barbara's Fanclub. So should be exciting having to watch how they actually ended up dismantling Spectre Gaming in a 2-0 fashion last week there. I think this is going to be another good, interesting series. So I'm excited to see what these teams prioritize, as it looks like we should be getting into the draft anytime here. But yeah, last time I saw around from Barbara's Fanclub, they played really consistent. Basically, just looked to scale up, use their jungle, and play through him. And Delightful was really, really impactful. His Shyvana made a big difference there the last week when they ended up playing. So I'm curious to see if they're going to kind of stick with that same plan. The players themselves don't have to be in order until the actual draft law is done. So it should be throwing the Rams a little bit of a curve here. And as we now actually have the first ban coming through here. 20 seconds left for Barbara's Fanclub. What do they choose to do with their first ban? A little exciting here.
Based on the match history here, last game that the Rams did play was against PGN in the last week of the regular season. They lost 2-1. Based on what kind of see here, it looks like their bot lane plays like kind of hard scaling. It looks like they play mostly through their bot side, and then they just kind of have like a funnel kind of thing going towards it. So already seeing that, obviously we see Senna ban straight up. Senna got nerfed recently. Her soul rate on minion kills was lowered by like another, I think like 3-4%.
Mm-hmm.
So scaling a little slower, but obviously Senna looks like one of their big comfort picks,
Yeah.
big scaling pick especially. So probably a lot of focus on that bot side, and then probably expect a lot of jungle bans against Barbara's Fanclub here. Karma coming out, or Karma banned, Cassiopeia banned by WCU Rams, and there's the Kindred, as we
You're four
talked
for
about the
four.
scaling jungle. So man, dude, just life of a caster.
No caster cursing today, right? Is that a curse in and of itself? Maybe.
Hopefully, because obviously, freaking TL got reverse swept by 100 Thieves. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
makes me a little sad. They still go through the bottom gauntlet here, so we're gonna wait for the third ban from Barbara's Fanclub here, and it's gonna be a Zillion ban.
Interesting.
Mostly see that support, just
Hmm.
because Zillion is just abusive. You just get airy, chuck your bombs, bada bing, bada boom. Asian Damon and Ahata are both very good there. Diana is the third ban here for WC Rams. Curious to see what Barbara's Fanclub will first pick. Most likely might be the Jinx, because that is still up. Jinx is pretty much like a must-pick ban in this season, especially for Ahata. Ahata is one of the big carries for this team, so curious to see what's going to be first picked here. Jinx is one of those big picks, but
Yep.
you could also see a lot of jungle priority. And Jinx,
There we go.
I'm 7 for 7.
So far, so good. And we'll see the Lulu in response looking to take away the Lulu from Barbara's Fanclub, I think, more than anything. And we have the Zac. And R2 Zac, that's a really interesting pick, especially towards competitive. The first clear for Zac is kind of weak, but once he gets a couple points, maybe a few points into his elastic slingshot, things really start to change. And that's when teams tend to struggle versus him. Usually it's tends to be a lack of deeper vision. If you're not able to catch off the Zac where he is, if he's able to just kind of elastic slingshot across the entire lane and catch you off guard, that's something that's a little bit of an interesting dynamic to see from the Rams. So we'll see what Barbara's Fanclub respond with. And the Thresh, I really like that. Thresh, really, really good counter into the Zac. Now, you do get outscaled, but the utility that the Thresh brings to Barbara's Fanclub, I think, is enough here.
Yeah, for Barbara's bot lane here, I expect to see them play for hard domination. Asian Damon, very, very cocky with the Lulu blind pick. So that means they're putting a lot of emphasis into Ahata to influence this matchup. Lulu is not very strong early, so you're gonna have to kind of punish that. You're gonna get outscaled without a doubt, as my co-caster said. Kayn going to be the pick here, so both junglers clear pretty fast. Let's see what Barbara is on blue side. So Zach, you're gonna have to ward that bot tri bush on the red side, and you're also going to have to ward that top tri bush in the red side. Also, you're going to want to catch that Zac out as much as possible. The better you track him, the better you can deal with it. Filio is going to be the pick here. So yeah, Filio is one of those big picks for a Hada, and is a pretty decent pick into Jinx in those early laning phases as the what is it? The no.
Calibum?
Is it Caliban? The
I
sniper
don't
one?
know.
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
it is. I believe it is.
It
I
is?
believe it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the sniper one, the long range one,
We'll go with it for now.
makes it pretty easy to play against the Jinx early. So we're going to see Katarina and Vigar banned out here. So it looks like mostly a lot of mid lane focus here, as mid lane is probably the best, secondary best lanes for both these teams here. Not quite sure what Rams mid laner plays, what don't run it. So yeah, it looks like he just plays like a lot of scaling picks and then a couple assassins every now and then. So
And we'll wait to see kind of what the Rams decide here to do with their R4 pick. Now, this will be a blind. Do they choose to go for the blind pick mid, or do they choose to go for the blind pick top? And it looks like they have the Ari, which is at the end of the day, one of the best picks that you can grab right now in the mid lane. Gives the mid laner a lot of agency just to kind of be able to hide, sneak in bushes, and actually look to land. Basically engages yourself with the charm. So there's lots of pick opportunities with Ari. Once she hits 6, she's pretty safe. Yeah, so I mean, I think the Ari is a really solid answer. The Kayn was something we didn't really get to talk too much about. You don't usually see Kayns in competitive, and a lot of the time has to do with teams that are able to draft a lot of CC into the Kayn. It can kind of make the Kayn a little bit more useless, or at least can kind of lead to the illusion that he feels more useless. It'll be interesting to see how they pilot the Kayn from the side of Barbara's Fanclub here, because they do have Lulu Polymorph, Zac CC, Aphelios, and a Charm. So we'll keep our eyes on that, as we do have the B4 lock-in of the Lux. So the Lux going into the Ari, it's funny, we talked a little bit about this off stream before the game started, about kind of Lux having the opportunity just to AFK wave clear over and over and over. So really safe pick. And then finally the B5 Shen. What are you thinking of that?
ooh, so looks like a lot of emphasis on for the Jinx here. Obviously, lots of big shields coming out for Lux, Shen, and the Thresh a little bit. So probably not going to see any kind of Serpent's Fang. Ari is the only one that can build the what's the thing called? The not Shattered Queen, the
No.
shield item. I think we all know what it is. So
We know
Pixel
what
Wolf
it
going to
is.
be piloting that Lux into that mid lane. Absolutely dominant performance in that game too. Victory against Spectre Gaming in the last week of the regular season, 6-2 and 12 against the Victor. So Ari, both these sides are going to have a lot of wave clear, but Ari does have a little bit more with the Q and a little more sustained with the passive. So probably expect to see a lot of roams and a lot of focus into that bot side. Going to be a little hard when you're matching that Shen once he hits level 6. Aatrox is going to is Aatrox. You don't see a lot of Aatrox, but with those buffs to the sweet spot, should be pretty nice there with that little extra damage and healing, all of that kind of running into you. So hopefully you don't get kited to oblivion as we kind of start getting ready to start the in-game draft here. So looking at like kind of like the end result of both these drafts here, what do you think? What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? What do you think these teams need to do to bring the victory in the bag?
Well, we'll go from left side to right here. So we'll start off with Barbara's Fanclub. I think the Jinx, right away with the first pick, kind of said what we already thought was going to happen. Barbara's Fanclub likes to play a lot towards their bot lane, so this draft that they ended up pulling off was basically bot lane centric, with maybe the exception of the Kayn, who's hoping to scale. You have the Shen support, so once they hit 6, obviously the Stand United's coming in, protecting and peeling that Jinx, or looking for windows to actually go in with the Kayn is going to be nice. But yeah, it's definitely a strong bot side pick here from Barbara's Fanclub, looking to play a lot through the agency and the pick potential of Thresh. And then on the opposite side, the Rams, it just looks like they're looking to scale up. They ended up doing the Aatrox pick into the Shen. So the Aatrox pick, I've seen that quite a bit into the Shen, and the reason why they do that is because the Aatrox can usually outrange the Shen for the majority of lane when you're landing your Q after Q after Q. Eventually, you're able to whittle him down enough to actually look for some of those kills, but I think a lot of it's going to be done from the side of the Rams on the solo lanes. So we'll keep an eye on top lane, see if he's able to shut down the Shen pre-6, or if they're able to take Barbara's Fanclub, kind of take the game over once they do hit that level 6. But yeah, the RE pick itself into the Lux, I think a lot of that's going to be AFK wave clear. Both those mid laners are going to be looking to roam around and impact the sides. So both teams drafting well. Let's see how both teams decide to play to their win con. Do we see the Kane pathing down towards bot side early on to make sure that his Jinx and his Thresh are safe? These are just kind of the questions that we just don't have answers to yet, but we will very, very soon.
Yeah, this Kane is this Kane is going to have a bit of a rough time going through with this because there's not a lot of places you can ganking an Aatrox. Obviously you can, but it depends on how the Aatrox kind of wants to play around. As you said, with the sweet spot, you have that range. It's going to be a little bit hard for Shen to go in because obviously you dodge the Q1, and then you still have the Q2, the Q3. You still got the dash. You can still position and get those sweet spots to deal that extra damage. Shen not going to have a fun time in that top side. But once you hit level 6, you don't want to be in that top side. You're going to want to roam. You're going to want to play around the map here. Rams, they don't have anything to negate all these shields, so it's going to be a little rough for them to go for those 5v5s. They don't have great split push potential, but they have really good engage with the Zac, so they're going to have to play really hard for the pick with the Ari and the Zac, and then try to burst down somebody before they can get those big cooldowns off to protect their team. Uh, this game is all about that bot lane. Uh, Barber's Fanclub, they're funneling that bot lane. They are going pretty much putting all the marbles, the eggs in the basket there.
All the chips. That's right. They're putting absolutely everything into that. And I think the interesting thing is once we have the first maybe 8 to 10 minutes here, once laning kind of starts to not necessarily come towards the end, but laning starts to mature, you're getting closer to the plate starting to end. What you're going to end up seeing is really with these team comps is what team is able to get into the river first for whatever neutral they want to contest. So if, say, Barber's Fanclub is looking to stack dragons this game, they need to be the ones to get in there first. Lux excels at being able to deny the enemy from getting into the river. Just with Lucid Singularity, all the pick potential that she has is going to be crazy impactful. So if Barber's Fanclub is able to set up on neutrals first, I think they're going to be able to hold it, maybe look to stack some dragons, get some rifts while they're at it. But if Rams on the opposite side are able to set up vision ahead of time, that stack's going to be really scary.
Yeah, I'd like to see, because thing with Kane right now, he can do Rost or he can do Assassin.
Mhm.
Rost did recently get buffed. The percent damage is a little higher, so obviously that comes with more healing. So you can opt for that, or you can just go for the full Assassin build, go for the Serpent's Fang, completely negate the Lulu out the game there, and then just kind of play for that hard scaling. Bot side, you have a lot of presence, so you can play for that early Drake stacking, play for that early blue form, or you can go top, play for contesting that Zac. So both junglers, I expect to kind of go on the opposite sides because I think the optimal clear for Zac is you start red side, you do red Krugs, and then you just do full clear from top
Yeah,
to bot. And then because I think if you optimize your clear correctly, you can do it like sub 330. You'll hit the scuttle, and then you can just immediately go into a gank because then you'll be level 4. You'll have that little extra range.
yeah.
And then then I think Ophelia should have Gravitum ready for the root and setup. So kind of want to see how it goes because obviously with everything I just said, it is if everything goes according to plan, but not everything can go according to plan usually. So hopefully I don't cast a curse it, but um,
Hopefully not. You're right, though. The first clear, you shouldn't expect to see a lot happen from both of these jungle picks. If something does happen, I'd be a little surprised, but Kane himself, he's looking to do the exact same thing as that Zac. So both jungles more than likely just kind of looking to clear their first, basically just clear everything that they possibly can their first time around, and maybe by their second, when they're hitting the level 4 or 5 mark, I think that's when you're going to expect to start to see the Zac. But when he hits the 6 and when the Kane hits the 6, then I think this game's going to kind of start to accelerate pretty quickly because that's, again, not only with the junglers, but that's when the top lane, especially the Shen, comes online. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that. I expect a pretty safe, passive early game from both of these teams, but like you said, anything can happen. Who really knows? There's lots of pick potential with the charms, with the binds, hooks. So plenty of ways for people to die pre-6, but if the game does end up getting to pre-6, expect it to accelerate pretty, or excuse me, once the game does get to post-6, expect the game to start to accelerate pretty quickly.
Yeah, both these teams, their go trigger is level 6. So
Mhm.
again, expect nothing too much early. Maybe a little bit of poking here and there. Obviously, Thresh and Jinx are going to play for that early game. They're going to try to push in the Lulu Aphelios, try to get some early kills there. You want that Jinx to get accelerated a little bit. Probably get that LDR and Runans early, so you can just start shredding through the enemy team here. But kind of looking at both these drafts here, again, nothing too fast early, just really, really slow. Probably play for the second Drake because neither of these junglers can solo Drake here. But kind of looking at this as we are going to go to a quick little break as the spectator goes down and we start getting ready for round 2 of the Gauntlet between WCU Rams and Barbara's Fan Club. We'll be right back. Okay, I'm ready.
Same here.
Ooh, welcome back, everybody. Here we are on the Summoner's Rift here. Production chat is on somewhere in the middle of the screen there, but already we are seeing both these teams not looking to do any weird shenanigans. Looking at all the rooms, looking at all the summoner choices, nothing too crazy. Everything looks pretty ordinary.
The one thing we
So-
will point out very quickly, though, is that Pixel Wolf decided to take the cleanse as opposed to going for the TP. So what are you thinking about that?
Playing selfishly, nah, just kidding. Lots of poke or lots of pick potential on the side of Rams here. Mostly the only thing you're really going to be cleansing is the Ari charm. Mostly everything else is kind of like a knock up and all that. So
Would be
most
that,
likely
the polymorph in the graviton as well. So there's a couple other little things, but no, you're not wrong though. I don't think the value of the cleanse is super high. I think it would have been better if they just opted in for the TP. I think when the game starts to scale a little bit later, especially after laning phase, lane assignments become a really important thing from the side of Barber's fan club. Not having that additional TP, right? They only have one. Now, while they do have the Shen All, of course, right? You can only have so many TPs. So it'll be interesting to see if the Rams are able to kind of capitalize on that with their lane assignments, see if they can kind of push, and that could be another little bit of a win con for them. But both teams looking, as far as I can tell, more in line with the team fight here. So we'll have to see how the 5v5 goes as well.
Ooh, so Kane starting pretty interestingly, starting the solo wolf start. Zach placing the ward, obviously tracking to see if Kane looks for the invade. I don't expect that invade. Kane and Zach kind of are pretty equal when it comes to clearing early here. So like yeah, right now they're pretty much like par for par. Zach knows what he's doing, dude. Starts W, takes Q also. So otherwise nothing too crazy going on in the lanes here. Zach and Kane are matching each other, so they are going to meet in that bot side. Right now Shen kind of rushing for that level 2 here. Wave is pretty stacked. Otherwise nothing too crazy. Lots of wards in that top side jungle to try to spot out for those cheeky little ganks here. Already getting a lot of cryo in that mid lane, zoning off Pixel Wolf here.
Yeah, again, we didn't really expect too much to happen here in this game early on. We kind of just expected teams to kind of go blow for blow, kind of pop their potions, heal up, and then just kind of wait for the level 6. So we'll have to see that that Aatrox pick not working just yet in the early portion, but he did have to end up leashing there, so he ended up leashing the Zac as opposed to Shen. Patrick Jones didn't have to. Delightful just ended up just doing leashless. So a couple little things to take note of. Nothing major though. It's just kind of picking small things as we have a little bit of an engage.
Top lane, Patrick Jones taking advantage of that level 3 priority there. Aatrox is a little worse early, already popping the potion. Getting a lot of that poke down, so it gets a little bit of that healing. Patrick Jones has to be a little careful. Actually, does land the W, gets pulled back. So gonna have to be a little bit careful mid lane there. Lots of trading, a couple missed skill shots, but Pixel Wolf does land the Q. Both junglers obviously meeting in that bot side, but ADHD a little bit faster, gets that scuttle. Trying to look to go mid here. Ari is pushing up a little bit, so could possibly look for something, but not pushing up enough. Just easy getaway there.
And he can head back in to grab his Krugs there real quick
right
too.
there. You love that ward right in that little tri-bush area for the side of Barbara's fan club. They do spot out the Zac in that bot side, so they're gonna spot him out on 2 wards there. So he will be spotted, does the full clear. Both junglers doing full clear. Well, otherwise not too crazy still here, man. It's gonna be completely even. Junglers are pretty much par for the course there. Top lane gonna be pretty normal, just tons of poke back and forth. But Ari already getting the first reset, so does Zac. And Kane looking for the cheese gank in that bot lane here with the wave kind of still being even, so don't expect too much.
No, I think he's just going to be taking his back. He's going to be down a little bit in tempo. You see Zac already heading up. He's going to be able to start clearing his second round of Krugs here with the increased XP. And it looks like he's also kind of there just to make sure, basically just covering that wave, making sure it gets in. He's kind of there to shadow as well. So Aatrox gets that wave in. Kingfisher's happy. He can opt into back. Know that really safely the wave's going to come back to him. So top lane's safe for now. Dissipate can look basically to do the same thing here. Go from top all the way down to bot, clear up the camps that are available. The Scuttle obviously won't be going his way. Delightful's heading over there right now is to grab that, but all in all, if you're on the side of the Zac right now, like the Rams are a-okay with the way that the game is going. Nothing has happened, nothing accelerating. It's really, again, just that level 6 that we're so eagerly anticipating at this point.
Yeah, both junglers spotted each other in the top side, so that just gives the Barbers Fanclub bot lane enough time to look for that little push there, try to get a reset off, but yeah, Infernum, Gravitum, getting a lot of chip damage onto Nuke, so gonna have to be a little careful. So they're not, it's gonna be a pretty weak push in here. Ooh, Nuke's getting chunked out there by Asian Damon walking forward, knowing that the hook is down there. So yeah, like right now, Nukes, unfortunately the wave is going to push back. This is going to be a pretty bad reset. Top lane, Patrick Jones going to have to taunt away there, almost getting solo killed in that top side. Dissipate in the mid lane, helping Pixel Wolf, or helping Don't Run It, push that wave in there. ADHD going to pick it up, and Pixel will force to use both the summoners there from Don't Run It, landing that charm. So that's going to be a summonerless Lux there, almost about a little bit off a wave of level 6. So we're going to start seeing those levels coming in soon. Shen already teleporting into that top side, catching the wave that is slowly pushing into him.
Yeah, and just kind of lanes bouncing back and forth. The top lane now we have basically the exact same thing here. Kingfisher looking to get his top wave inside. As we have the Zac Dissipate heading towards bot side here. This could be the first fight of the game, actually. A little bit of a scrap top side.
Oh, Kingfisher popping the ultimate. Bombing Cinder's only on Patrick Jones. Patrick Jones gonna have to be really, really careful here. That's gonna have to flash out from the Q1. So that is going to be a summonerless Shen here in that top side. He is below half. He has 25% HP. Might have to reset, but the wave is crashing into him here.
And Rams have a lot of tempo right now. They're opting in maybe to reset, but I think that they can almost start this dragon right now. Shen has to catch this wave. He can't afford to miss it. His TP's down, and the Stand United, sure, it's available. But right now they're on a bit of a back foot here. Maybe they're looking for a gank instead.
Oh, he gets spotted right there on the ward. Going to clear that ward here. At first blood in that top side in the dive, but it is going to be a trade of kills there. So it's only going to be about a 100 gold difference here for both sides here in the first blood. And right now, we're going to see... oh, nothing really going on here. As mid lane, there's going to be the combo. Please don't run it. Going to dodge out with the Spirit Rush from the laser. As Patrick Jones running in there, Charm is about to be up. It is up right now. Going to slow down the Shen, and he isn't going to get nothing back. So that is a Stand United forced out there. Lots of cooldowns being used, but nothing really gotten in return. Though, don't run it. Taking advantage of the ultimate and the summonerless, as there it is, sacking that bot side, does not land the stretching strike, unfortunately, doesn't land the ult, just a little bit too late. So once again, it is still everybody else on both sides getting out pretty much scot-free. Asian Damon gonna get chunked by the Rockets, but that's pretty much going to be it. It is still about a 100 gold difference between both these teams here, as Kingfisher is going to get into a little bit of a skirmish topside. Patrick Jones, you're just eating all that damage. You didn't dodge nothing there, as you're gonna have to be careful, man. You don't want to fight this, as the Patrick Jones pushing that wave in. Kingfisher should be able to kind of clear that back out, but still nothing being claimed here for both sides.
That's right, and importantly too, the first Stand United comes through and no kill comes of it. It's more of a reactive Stand United than anything. Kingfisher able to burn the Shen flash, about 2 minutes ago there, culminating in no kill mid lane. Had Shen have had the flash, Don't Run It on the Ahri, might have been dead. So, those small little things. Here we go. Another fight.
Yep, there's Zac coming in, but unfortunately, does land a stretching strike, but it doesn't look like you're barely going to be out of range to get that Q1. So just a little bit late there with the E, but Kane is waiting in the jungle for Zac to come through. Zac only has cooldown boots, and they're Dissipate, just used all the cooldowns here.
Topside.
Yeah, he's coming through. They're gonna go right onto the Zac here. He does have flash. He should be pretty much fine, but forced to use that flash there. Light Binding coming out a little bit late there, so gonna get a couple stacks for that Ross form. ADHD Delight gonna pick up these Krugs here for himself. He's up 30 CS to the Zac bot lane. Ahada is going to get a couple is gonna get a plate here with Asian Damon, but there goes the mid lane from Please Don't Run It. Gonna get the Gravitum, gonna get the root, but unfortunately doesn't land it, as Nuke's gonna flash a little bit too late there. Does get the Q return with the orb of Deception. and there is going to be the third kill of the game, and that's going to be the Drake starter here. Going to get spotted, but it ain't going to be reciprocated by the side of what is it? Barber's Fan Club.
Yeah, Barber's Fan Club electing to send 4 members topside there, not just too long ago at all. We have a little bit of a scrap. I don't expect any further blood. Probably a little bit of dialing down, but yeah, Barber's Fan Club.
And Rocket, it does a lot of damage. Are you gonna steal the Drake? Okay. Oh, that was really close there with the final spark. So really close call there, but you do have the upgraded smite, should be fine. Patrick Jones gonna look for more trading in the top side. Kingfisher does pop the ultimate, does land a W. You're gonna pull him back there right now using the auto reset with the E. Patrick Jones forced to run away. Taunt gonna come up in about 5 seconds. Kingfisher not gonna look for it. So Patrick Jones, it might get forced off this wave. You're gonna have to run the long way here. So again, just lots of trading in that top side, but they're still pretty much completely even in farm.
Yeah, it's crazy, and the goal itself is even too. I mean, 3 kills at this point now in 11 minutes. So yeah, like you said, nothing too crazy. The game has accelerated a bit, but I mean, for the Gold State, 200 gold difference from both teams. Both teams are actually pretty happy with the state of the game. I mean, Patrick Jones himself might have to be the most worried, especially with this coming in. Doesn't
Almost.
land though. Doesn't land.
Really
so.
close. Real
Yeah,
close.
very close. He'll reset here. Looks like he'll just head on back towards topside. And again, second United, Stand United is now available. So could be an option, especially with LC Bane looking here. Patrick Jones does elect to stay topside though, so his HP is not the healthiest. I don't think there's anything happening just yet.
Yeah, Patrick Jones definitely doesn't want to leave his lane on a bad note there, but you know, sometimes you just gotta kind of force it. As long as it's not a cannon wave, you're not really losing too much there realistically. Yeah, like Kingfisher, he's just kind of sticking around, try to force the Shen to miss out on these really chunky waves. So yeah, now he's gonna reset, he's gonna lose out on a cannon wave, so that's a good chunk of gold that you don't really think about sometimes. A Kingfisher, even though he's there, he misses the cannon, unfortunately. So cannon wave gonna get pushed in here. He's also gonna get solo plating. Kane is in that top side there, so you might have to be a little careful. Gonna get spotted through the wall. Kingfisher lands a Q. There's a Stand United, so it's gonna be a 2v1 to that top side. Kingfisher does not have the flash, and that's going to be a kill going over to ADHD the Light. As mid lane here, Zach going in with a stretching strike. Does land onto Pixel Wolf, uses the cleanse. There's a Zach under the tower. He has the ultimate, but it's going to be under tower range. Gonna have to be really careful. Orb of Deception going in. Please don't run it, picking up that kill. But you don't take the tower long enough. Dissipate, he still lives. The ultimate doesn't quite, or the passive doesn't quite take out that tower shot there. As ADHD the Light going through with everything, getting 2 kills in the past minute, pushing into that mid lane here. As Teleport used that topside for the Aatrox to pick up this wave.
And Delightful was quintessential. Oh, we have another fight.
Side, there's the hook. But an immediate cleanse there. How to not want to risk anything there. So Ari looking to roam into that bot side here once again.
He was spotted.
Ooh, does get spotted on that ward. Oh, they don't know. They're still going to walk into this. They still don't know. The control ward is there. Please don't run it. Nukes is still standing there. He doesn't know anything at top side. There's a solo kill onto the Shen in the 2v1. As Thresh is going in, he doesn't realize it's going to be a 3v2 there. As the Exhaust comes in right in time as the heal comes through. There goes Flash forward with the Orb of Deception. Gonna pick up those 2 big kills there. Final Spark not gonna hit anybody. Asian Damon gonna flash out of it. As topside HD Delightful gonna have to flash out. Kingfisher winning out in the 2v1, and bot side getting, right now, the Rams are getting everything they could possibly want.
I mean, where do you start? I mean, the action was 2 minutes, 3 minutes long. It all started from a Stand United, the second one being used, going on Kingfisher, getting that kill. And again, it's so impactful here. Delightful was one of the main reasons why Barber's Fan Club ended up taking down Spectre Gaming. So we'll have to keep an eye on him. He's already got the 2 kills. Now the end result is not exactly the best for Barber's Fan Club. The Rams happy to get a couple extra plates, get a couple more kills bot side, and more importantly than that, don't run it on the Ari. Now has three of those kills with a 300 gold bounty. Bit of a CS differential starting to happen, and he does have the TP. This is where you're going to see the value of that cleanse just not be as impactful as opposed to the TP, the unleashed teleport that Don't Run It has now. So we'll keep an eye. If he's matching the Jinx for a while here in the solo lanes, then this can effectively be...
Have to hold up on that. It's going to be a 3-man gang to that top side. Shen You're going up a little bit too far forward. Taunt is going, Stretching Strike gonna bring him back there, but he might live here. Does get slowed, but Asian Demon gonna keep going on forward, gonna get taken by the tower, and Patrick Jones completely lives there with the taunt. There comes the Kane. He does have the Rost form already. Asian Demon gonna ult himself, knocking him up, but there goes ADHD though, like gonna try to sustain as much as he can, but that's a big shutdown going over to Kingfisher as Asian Damon gets out with his life. 4 people for the side of WCU. Rams are coming up as there goes the Charm onto the Thresh. He's gonna get taken down. He's gonna be the sacrificial lamb, letting his ADC get out with his life there. Flash force out from Nukes, and Shen gonna have to run away from this tower as the Aatrox is forcing that dive. That's gonna be the Drake going over to the side of WCU Rams. Pixel Wolf is waiting in the bush. Dissipate does not have. Oh, misses everything there. Just a slightly fish too late there as Patrick Jones just under the tower, but you're gonna have to be careful. Taunt goes under the tower. Kingfisher, you're gonna have to be a little bit careful there as he's gonna get solo killed outright. Coming over to the Shen here in that top side as the Super Mega Death Rocket coming out a little bit too late, but the second Drake is secured by the side of WCU Rams.
That's right. This is a second Drake now. I mean, we're looking for a 25-minute soul at this point, so we'll have to keep an eye out on that. That's really, really, really good from the side of the Rams, though. Generally, the rule of thumb when it comes to dragons is if you're a team fighting comp, you want to stack as many dragons as you can. You want that soul. It's extremely impactful, and they're going to get it here if they're able to lock in the next 2 dragons, so pretty crazy on that end. I think if you're on the side of Barber's fan club, you just need to kind of slow the game down. The gold itself is not actually looking that too big of a difference, but I don't think it's so much the gold. I think it's a tempo right now. I think Barber's fan club is set to outscale the side, or excuse me, I think the Rams are set to outscale the side of Barber's fan club's that game. So, I mean, we'll have to keep an eye on how all this goes. The Lulu has been pretty damn impactful too. You saw the polymorph on Delightful there, actually interrupting the Kane, which definitely would have ended up being a kill. So, you're starting to see a lot of the scaling come through. Again, I think it's going to come down to Patrick Jones and these Stand Uniteds and the picks that they're able to kind of weave in between the Lux bindings and the Thresh hooks. So if there's any chance that Barber's fan club has, I think it's going to be on the back of those abilities. And I think if you're on the side of the Rams, you're okay with the state of the game right now. You like how it's going. You've got 2 dragons. You don't have to do too much. You can just kind of wait, sit back, and control the middle and the bot side of this map for the next 5-6 minutes at least. That would get you soul point, and then at that point, once you get the soul point itself, you could choose. Maybe you don't even look to contest for soul. Maybe you play towards dragon or play towards baron. That's when that's going to be up. So gives a lot of options for the side of the Rams. We'll keep a close eye on what they decide to do here.
It is going to be an Ocean Soul Kane spotted in that top side on the Tribush, clearing that control ward. So lots of rotation coming up. So we're gonna start the Rift Herald here, still spotted on the war. There goes the Zac going in, gonna get the stun off. Aphelios is here, gonna get the root off. Stretching Strike not quite going to land as the Kane goes into the ultimate onto the Zac, getting a lot of healing. Death Sentence does not quite land there, it barely misses. As there goes Zac, gonna get rooted up. He's gonna get taken down, gonna get put into the passive as the Aphelios is just gonna continue free hitting. Super Mega Death Rocket going out, but it ain't gonna do too much. There goes the Spirit Refuge onto ADHD as Ahada gonna get hit with a Death Sentence on the backside. Nuke's gonna get put into the poly, but it ain't gonna be enough right now. It looks like Barber's fan club are actually turning this fight around. There goes the Gale Force forward, picking up a triple kill in that top side. We're just talking about WCU Rams, the gold lead not mattering at all, and it truly does not as the bot side. Please don't run it. They're gonna look for that 1v1 against Pixel Wolf. You don't have enough damage. Does land the laser, but it's gonna be an auto attack. You're dodging out on all the skill shots, but the minion's gonna block the light binding, and please don't run it. Barely winning out in that 1v1.
Holy goodness, and look at this, we still have more answers coming from the side of Barber's fan club. I mean, the one thing we didn't get a chance to talk about is resets. I mean, once one person goes down on the side of the Rams, I mean, things can really start to happen for Nukes, and that's what you saw there. He picked up, I believe, 2, if not 3 kills in that one fight alone, so Nukes is now online. He's going to be really strong. He's got, what, 2.1k. That's how much gold he has right now in his inventory. He's going to go back, he's going to spend that, and he's going to be looking even better.
Yeah, so like I was gonna talk about it before. Like the gold lead was pretty much like almost all on the Ahri. Like otherwise the ADCs were completely even. Everybody else was pretty much almost completely even, except for the Ahri, which was like about 2k up on the lane opponent. But right now the gold lead is pretty much starting to sway in favor. It's only like right now it's only about 500-600. Both these teams aren't really leveraging their gold leads. They're more like kind of just trading like small things back and forth. Before it was just WCU Rams just trading a lot of kills and neutral objectives, but now it's just kind of swaying more into the favor of Barbara's fan club. They're going to start trying to leverage that Ari now because, yeah, like Ari just completely played the map really well. Like, again, just has a superior pushing power to the Lux. So you just kind of look for those the cross map plays. Shen just getting completely pushed in that top side. You can't really do too much. So
yeah, that turret's gonna go down anytime.
yeah, like Patrick Jones, you can't play the cross map at all with the Aatrox just being super abusive. Yeah, Patrick Jones just kind of Kingfisher just way too scared to walk up after what happened last time with the taunt. You don't really want to risk it too much, but it was just like a one hit. LC Bane looking for that hook onto H Name, but able to get on out there. This is going to be the third Drake of the game. It's going to be up in a couple seconds here. For some reason, I don't know why, but my thing does not have the timer. But ooh, the hook. Death Sentence breaks the Banshee's Veil, so it is not going to be up for this fight. Teleport coming in from the Aatrox. Their Drake is not going to be up for about another 10 seconds here, 5 seconds. So there it is, going to be popping up here. And both teams already have the battle line set. Rest of WC Rams gonna have to walk into this as the ADHD Delightful gonna get hit with the charm, but there goes the hook, gonna interrupt the knockup from Dissipate. He's gonna flash into the backside, gonna get one kill onto the Thresh. He's gonna be a trade of jungler for support. ADHD Delight just gonna be absolutely shredding. Ahad does have the chakrams. He's going in, he's chopping, he's slicing. As there's those Kingfish, gonna get slowed up. Gonna have to be careful. ADHD Delight does not have the ultimate, does not have any more gap closing. Please don't run it. Does have the teleport, could look for the reset, but you're gonna get the Juicy Fruit, gonna heal up a little bit. It is gonna be a 3v4. Try to slow out for Patrick Jones. As Pixel Wolf, you don't have flash anymore. Pop the cleanse, but it's gonna be too late. As there goes a pick onto the Lux. It's gonna be a solo kill for the Ari. ADHD Delightful, you are pretty much on your own there. Oh, charm almost lands, but the Blade's reach is only gonna delay the inevitable as you get taken down. As it's gonna be an ace for the side of WC Rams at about 21 minutes.
An ace and now we've got Soul Point. This is where things start to get a little bit scary from the side of Barbara's fan club. And now 5 minutes time. 5 minutes time. They're gonna have to make a decision. Do they choose to fight this dragon, contest that Ocean Soul? Do they decide to do that, or do they opt in to play more towards mid, maybe towards top side, maybe looking for that Baron? And I think really it's actually not going to be on the backs of their own decisions. I think it's going to be on what Rams decide to do. Rams don't have to play for this 4th dragon. They can if they want it, absolutely, and it's not like it's a bad play, but they have all the options on the map now. Again, they don't even have to look for it at all. They could just play solely for Baron, play towards top side. There's still standing gold for that tier 2 turret top as well, so Kingfisher might look to do that. It might actually be don't run it. Even though we do have Kingfisher up towards his top side, don't run it. It does have the TP, so we'll keep an eye on things. But 22 minutes in, on the side of the Rams, a scaling team comp, things are looking pretty good. And if you're Barbara's fan club, you got to be wondering what went wrong that last fight. How do you fix things that are going not in your way? Because they had the inside track in that river. They had the first move, and they were looking to zone away with the Lux, looking to zone away with the Thresh, but still, the Rams were able to walk in, contest, and end up getting that soul point. So, this is anybody's game at this point, but if you're the Rams, you're feeling arguably a bit better.
Yeah, like surprisingly, it's still dead even. It's like, it's almost completely even. It's only 1k apart. At this point, is just how both teams play the team fights, but WCU Rams, they are playing the team fight just slightly better in the end, even at a numbers disadvantage. They pick off Thresh, it was a 1-for-1, but still, in the end, WCU Rams pick it up. I mean, they're running into the rest of Barbara's fan club. They just run into the choke and they just get completely cut off. Their stretching strike lands in the top side, and he's gonna get knocked up and completely CC'd and slowed. You got no tower to protect you here. You only have the teleport up. You don't have any flashes. As the taunt comes through, stretching strike landing once again, gonna get pulled back into the maw of Kingfisher, and that is going to be another kill going over to Kingfisher, and that looks like they could start the Baron here, as it is going to be spotted by the Scryer's Bloom, but instead they're just going to kind of position around. They're going to death push this. They're going to try to look for these big picks, as there goes the Ari. Oh, lands a charm onto the Kane, and there goes, oh, lots of damage coming down. That's the Inferno multi coming through to Nukes. Pixel Wolf flashing out, but she is going to be perfectly fine, but not fine enough, as the block of the Solari going to get popped. Not going to shield him enough. That's 2 people going straight down to the Zac.
Goes down.
The passive goes down, but the whole team is coming through as Asian Damon flashing right in. Death Sentence onto him. Does pop the ultimate, going to get a little bit tanky. Spear Threat ADHD is trying to live as much as he can as Asian Damon is trying to kite out as much as possible. You're going to get absolutely destroyed there as the Reaping Slash is going to reap Kingfisher's life as Ahada is continuing to take the mid lane tier 1. Please Don't Run It, going to have to run away. The Reaping Slash knocked by going over the wall, and looks like Please Don't Run It might be able to get out here, but ADHD Delightful going to keep going through with the Shadow Step plans.
No flash?
Does not have the plates reach no more CC, but that is going to be it. 1000 shutdown going over the ADHD Delightful 8-2-1 on the Kane here. 25 minutes into the game, and it is now even more even now with that shutdown. It is 400 gold separating both these teams here. Drake going to be up in about a minute and a half.
That's right, a minute and a half before that dragon starts, but we actually have a bit more action right now. Delightful opting to start and peel back. I think rightfully so. I think it's a good decision. I don't think they have enough damage for it right now, and honestly, I don't even think it's really something they want to contest. Don't Run It also has a TP, so I think that's a throw. I think they wisely choose to back off, and instead, looks like both teams are going to be setting this vision towards bot side and really contesting this river bush. At this point, it's really just whatever team is willing to pull the trigger first, and out of that, whoever pulls that trigger, do they execute properly? I mean, if we see a binding land from Pixel Wolf, then I think it's safe to say one of those targets, whoever gets binded, if it's any of the carries, is probably dead. The only point at this time that you can really rely on would be the Sonya's, which is coming up very soon, but not available just yet, or the cleanse that Ahada does have. So, right now, we have both teams posturing in the river. The Rams are giving up a little bit of this. I think they need to walk in together as a unit. Look to play around this vision that they are getting more control of. They need Dissipate to be able to hide. He needs to not be seen on vision right now, and that's looking what they're going to do. This is a smart decision by them. They just want to group up as 5, have Dissipate not be seen on the map at all. They don't want to know where he is, and they just want to see that slingshot come in basically out of nowhere.
Oh, that's a big light binding there, but
yeah, fairly big. Take a look at Don't Run It too. Don't Run It has an option for the flank. I think this is pretty wise. I think the setup from the Rams is pretty good. We'll have to see if they can get picked though. That's the only problem.
Asian Damon getting chunked out. Both teams have the battle line set. Please Don't Run It has the Spirit Rush. He is going to look for that flank angle, but right now priority on the Drake is taken by Barbara's Fanclub here. We're gonna see who gets the first thing here. Please Don't Run It. Oh, you're gonna get everybody on the Scriber's Bloom, so they are gonna know that somebody has a bit of a flank angle, but you still have the flank. There are no wards set still. Where are the wards? There's no wards for the Thresh here, so this is pretty much a free flank Oroni. Both teams just kind of playing around this Drake to see who will take it first, and it looks like Barbara's Fanclub gonna start it up first. Zac is around the wall. He's gonna try to look for this steal here. This is gonna be a really clutch steal. Can Dissipate do it? Drake still started. It's about 3k HP. Getting lower and lower. There it is. Zac with the slingshot. There goes the light by the laser going through, and it's gonna be secured by the side of Barbara's Fanclub, and no contest whatsoever from WCU Rams.
The slingshot ran out. He hesitated just slightly, and Dissipate ended up not being able to recast that slingshot. They don't go in, and instead they had the inside track. Barbara's Fanclub opting in to head towards his Baron, forcing the Rams to actually respond to this. So I really like this play here. They might have the damage to be able to finish it, but instead, the ball's definitely in their court right now. They're forcing the Rams to respond.
Felix is far out here. They're gonna have to be careful. Baron is already at about half HP. There goes the Death Sentence onto the Aatrox here.
Now are they gonna flip
the Baron just gets lower and lower. It's about 4k HP. There goes Aatrox going into the pit. Zac going into the pit also. Gonna get the stretching straight onto the backside. Jinx gonna get knocked up finally. Dissipate going to put everybody into the bounce house. Gonna get ulted by the Lulu. And Please Don't Run It doesn't quite land anything. Gonna get put into the Sonya's and Headshot's gonna get really low. Flash forward. Kingfisher gonna get the sweet spot there. Being up a double kill. LC Bane gonna be on the 1v1 with the Aatrox. Ahada is trying to kind of get away there at the Maw of Malmortes. Is not gonna save you enough. ADHD Delightful as the Aatrox is still chasing that Thresh into the top side. Lux forced to run away. Does not have any more mana. Please Don't Run It. Is still hunting her down. You are not going to get out with your life. You don't have any mana. You're just going to stall the inevitable as you keep on running away there. Just die here. As there goes Kingfisher. Going to pick up the unofficial quadra kill. And that's going to be a clean ace going over to the side of WCU Rams.
Yep, and it's a full sweep. I mean, everybody going down on Barber's Fanclub, and unfortunately, no resets coming in. Jinx isn't able to get excited, and instead, what ends up happening is Dissipate with his slingshot, able to jump into the backline, forcing the flash away from Nukes immediately, and then still, the damage on Zac seems a little crazy sometimes, but basically killing him by himself there in the backline. Kingfisher able to flash in and actually secure that kill, and once that happens, and Kingfisher gets his resets and basically the rest of the fight is history. And now you'll see the Rams coming out with Baron. They have the choice to set up. I think that what they should do here is they should do a 4-1. I think split the map towards bot side. They have the option to go for top as well, but at the end of the day, again, the ball's in their court. They have a lot of choices to make here, and they have a lot of pressure that they could put on. I don't think Bane should be up here right now.
Oh, Bane. Gonna get slowed up. You'll have to ward down to get a little bit of information. Kingfisher is going to start clearing the wards there. Lots of wards coming through the bot side to try to spot out this WCU Rams. Siege here. Shen pushing out that top side, so you're not gonna have Shen. Does have the Spear's Refuge, does have the teleport, but it looks like they're going to go for the 4-1 into the mid and the bot side here. Ari going to be the one to split off there. Aatrox going to group up with the rest of the team here. So all the wards are placed down, not going to catch any weird flank angles. Nuke's going to get chunked out a good amount there with the Calibrum and the Infernum. As ADHD Rifle going to be on the flank. Spears Refuge coming. Sands United coming through a little early there. Dissipate is going to get turned up by the Ari with that teleport. Flank just absolutely destroys Nukes. You're walking a little too close to the sun there as ADHD Rifle trying to get out with the reaching slash, but Polymorph's going to put him back through the wall. You're going to try to heal him all you can, but it ain't going to be enough as the final spark comes through. Pixel Wolf's going to flash over, but you're still going to get taken out there. Another clean ace for WCU Rams, and that is going to be game one of the Gauntlet going over to the side of the Rams.
And at this point, it's just a little too late there. Barber's Fanclub not able to make their comp do what they needed it to do. The resets just never came in, and instead the resets come in towards the side of the Rams, and once one of those kills happen, the rest of them fall, and you're going to really have to ask what Barber's Fanclub decides to do for game 2 here. Do they elect to ban that Zac? I mean, if I'm on the side of Barber's Fanclub, it's definitely a question in my mind. But I think right now, I believe if I'm not mistaken, the losers have side selection. So I think the first thing that they'll probably end up doing is heading over towards red. That way they'll actually be able to get the counter picks. What you see a lot of teams tend to do is they grab the counter picks for their solo lanes. So we'll see if they elect to do that. But at this point, it's anybody's guess what they decide to do. I just think they're going to have a couple questions that they need to have answered first, and I think Zac is one of them.
You know, I had this statistic brought up because I wanted to talk about it, but I never got the time to talk about it. Mountain Soul is the highest statistical win rate soul. Then Ocean is second by only 0.2%. But that doesn't matter because the soul never got taken. But yeah, like, this game was pretty much like, it was almost completely, technically the game was almost back and forth the entire way. It could have gone either way, but unfortunately Barber's Fanclub just never got the chance to kind of set, like, even when they set up correctly, they still just got completely decimated because Thresh, you know, could never really get those interruptions on the Zac, and Zac just got a free one-way ticket into the backside onto the Jinx and just constantly got those key picks.
Barber's Fanclub, they get outscaled. I think that's really what it comes down to. The Thresh is a good pick, and the Thresh has a lot of agency, a lot of opportunities to set up for neutral objectives, look for picks with the hook, play with the lantern. You could do a lot of that, but at the end of the day, a Lulu is still going to be a Lulu. You're still going to scale. You're still going to do exactly what you need with your hyper carry Aphelios. And the front line that the Rams had just performed a bit better than the front line that Barber's Fanclub had, gave enough space for Ahata on that Aphelios to really be able to rip through people with the buffs from the Lulu. And you just saw it, because you're right, the gold towards the middle portion of the end portion of the game was pretty even, but it wasn't that. It was just, it's the value of the gold. What teams scaled better at that point? And I think with 3 dragons that we saw, I mean, it put a lot of pressure on Barber's Fanclub to make decisions that they didn't want to have to make, basically forced errors, and the Rams were able to kind of, I guess you could say, just capitalize on it. You saw the slingshots going into the back line. I don't think Nukes really had much of a chance besides maybe 1 or 2 team fights to kind of free hit. The rest of the time he was running away. And that's not what you want.
Yeah, like, this game was pretty much like just WC Rams just taking advantage of just how much like AoE and how much pick potential they have, because the Shen got put pretty far down like had no chance to get any cross map plays really, except for like one into the mid lane, which was barely cross map, and WCU Rams just constantly taking advantage of the pushing power. They get all those big plays into that bot side, and Jinx just constantly getting picked off. The Zac was just super huge in the team fights. The Ari and the Aatrox, like Kingfisher towards the end with all the team fights was just a massive carry. Like with all that gold on in his back pocket, was just able to just beat up everybody with his wallet, and
Yeah.
then just like at that point it was just purely just a team comp diff for WCU Rams and like just zero interruption to stop the Zac from getting into the back line and just absolutely ceasing everybody to oblivion.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to again. What we're gonna see here, Barbara's fan club. They're gonna go back to the drawing board and they're gonna make a couple decisions. I don't think the Shen pick was too bad, but the first Stand United that came through, they didn't end up getting a kill. The second one did. They ended up getting a kill, but it was topside, and it was on Delightful, who's definitely one of your carries. But I think you and I both talked about it before. I thought we wanted to see the Stand Uniteds focus more towards bot side, looking to kind of shut down Ahata and Damon on both of those champions that they had. But it looked like they kind of just had a free lane to scale up, and I think that's maybe what ended up being the nail in the coffin for Barbara's fan club for the first game. So lots of decisions that they're going to have to make. I don't necessarily think it was any fault of their own. I think definitely some of the plays could have been executed a little bit better. But at the end of the day, I think all they need to do is just draft to their strengths, pick the side that they want, which again I expect to be red side, and then I expect the solo lanes to be able to get more of a counter pick, or maybe they even want to put a counter pick towards LC Bane on. I know that Bane likes to play a lot of like carry type of like supports. So we'll keep an eye on that. Definitely lots of strategy left. This is a best of 3 though. So Barber's fan club is on the back foot. If they lose the next game, they are done. The gauntlet is over for them, and the Rams would move on. So still some pressure, but I'm sure they're a-okay with it. They've been playing together for a while now, so we'll keep an eye on everything as we move along.
Yeah, just one thing, like you're playing. Remember, Barber's fan club, they play with a scaling jungler. Play all your lanes with agency. Do not play for scaling. All 3 of your lanes should have agency if you're running with a scaling jungler. Just remember that. So that's basically what WCU? Yeah.
Yep.
WCU Rams did. They took advantage of that and they snowballed their lead, and eventually they just pulled off every single team fight just a little bit better. So as we start getting ready for game 2 here, we're gonna see if Barber's fan club can bring it back, or if WCU Rams are gonna go through with a clean split or clean sweep. As we'll be right back.